The United States, Britain, Germany, Italy, the Netherlands, Switzerland, Finland, Australia, and Canada are among the countries that have suspended their contributions to the United Nations Relief and Works Agency for Palestine Refugees, UNRWA. These suspensions were prompted by allegations from Israel that some of UNRWA's staff were involved in the October 7th attacks on Israel. Hello friends, I hope you're having a fantastic day and welcome to Insight360 Europe edition. In today's video, we'll focus on the ever-growing scandal about the involvement of United Nations employees in the attacks on Israel last year. How deep does the corruption go? And were there signs that things might not have been going smoothly within the agency? Let's begin by exploring what happened. The scandal surrounding the United Nations Relief and Works Agency for Palestine Refugees in the Near East, UNRWA, unfolds amidst a deepening crisis in the Middle East. This crisis intensified after a series of attacks on Israel on October 7th. Allegations have emerged that some UNRWA employees have ties to these attacks, which were carried out by Hamas. The accusations are serious, suggesting that 9 UNRWA teachers were involved in violent incursions into Israeli territory, resulting in significant loss of life and the taking of hostages. These charges not only raise concerns about UNRWA's neutrality and integrity, but also elicit an immediate response from its major donors. The United States, Britain, Germany, Italy, the Netherlands, Switzerland, and other countries have suspended funding to UNRWA. This has resulted in over 55% of its current $1.1 billion budget being wiped out. These countries are demanding a thorough investigation and accountability. UNRWA promptly responds by condemning the actions of the implicated employees and launching an investigation. As a result, the contracts of the accused staff members are terminated. The agency's leaders express shock and disappointment at the funding suspension, emphasizing its potential catastrophic impact on their humanitarian missions, particularly in Gaza, where the need is most urgent. They warn that the cessation of funds could lead to a complete shutdown of operations, exacerbating the humanitarian crisis in the area. The story of UNRWA being infiltrated by terrorist elements is a long-standing one, woven through years of complex geopolitical tensions in the Middle East. This story unfolds over decades, against the backdrop of the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, where accusations against UNRWA have periodically surfaced, casting shadows over its humanitarian efforts. It all begins in the aftermath of the 1948 Arab-Israeli War, with the establishment of UNRWA by the United Nations General Assembly. Its mission was to support the welfare of Palestinian refugees. Over the years, the agency has become an essential lifeline, providing education, healthcare, and social services to millions of Palestinians in the Gaza Strip, the West Bank, Jordan, Lebanon, and Syria. However, UNRWA has faced accusations that its schools and facilities are being used by terrorist groups like Hamas. Critics, primarily from Israeli and some international quarters, claim that UNRWA's infrastructure has been utilized for storing weapons. Its schools have been sites for incitement against Israel, and its staff includes members sympathetic to or actively involved with terrorist organizations. One pivotal moment in this ongoing narrative occurred in the early 2000s, during the Second Intifada, when the Israeli government released reports alleging connections between UNRWA employees and terrorist activities. These reports claimed that militants used UNRWA's ambulances to transport weapons and that its facilities served as cover for militant operations. Despite these serious allegations, UNRWA consistently denies any institutional links with terrorist organizations. The agency emphasizes its role as a neutral and impartial humanitarian body dedicated to serving Palestinian refugees. It also highlights its internal mechanisms for vetting staff and its efforts to prevent political or military exploitation of its operations. Recent developments have made these statements more and more implausible. As explained by multiple international news outlets, including the Wall Street Journal and Reuters, tunnels leading from Gaza to Israel have been found underneath the UNRWA headquarters, making UNRWA's claims that they didn't know highly questionable. The scandal surrounding the United Nations Relief and Works Agency for Palestine Refugees emphasizes the importance of examining the dynamics and accountability within international organizations. The decision by major countries like the United States, Britain, and Germany to suspend their contributions to UNRWA due to allegations of staff involvement in attacks on Israel perhaps highlights a deeper problem. If you send big bags of money to any organization without much oversight, how can you be sure they use it as you intended? This unfolding situation emphasizes an important lesson. Providing substantial financial support without thorough scrutiny and oversight can lead to misuse and disaster. The allegations against the UNRWA, including reports of tunnels discovered beneath its Gaza headquarters by reputable sources such as the Wall Street Journal and Reuters, challenge the agency's claims of ignorance and neutrality. These revelations raise doubts about the UNRWA's internal governance and the effectiveness of its mechanisms to prevent exploitation by terrorist groups. The warning signs, it appears, were always there, subtly mixed with the UNRWA's ongoing operations amid the complex Israeli-Palestinian conflict. However, due to the pressing need to assist the Palestinians, the international community chose to look the other way. Thinking about the drama surrounding the UNRWA makes us ponder the bigger picture when it comes to holding people accountable, being transparent, and being ethically responsible in global aid. This issue goes beyond just one organization and gets at the basic principles that should guide all humanitarian help. It should be a wake-up call for everyone involved to take a second look and beef up the systems that keep an eye on aid in areas affected by conflicts, making sure aid actually does what it's supposed to do without accidentally making conflicts worse. Basically, the ongoing UNRWA drama gives the international community a chance to think and improve the systems that oversee humanitarian efforts. It's a moment to remind ourselves that just because the cause is just doesn't mean all the people working at the cause are. We should provide aid to the most vulnerable people in the world, yes, but not without maintaining high standards of honesty and effectiveness. This crucial moment in UNRWA's history tells us to reinforce the structures of international aid, protecting the main goal of helping those who desperately need it, but without making any concessions on oversight. That's all for this episode. Let me know what you think of this whole situation in the comments below. If there are any new updates, we will of course keep you informed. We hope you enjoyed this episode and we are really excited to see you again next week. Take care and bye-bye.